Hello, my name is Amy Sturkey. I am a pediatric physical therapist, and I am continuing my amazing interview with Stacy Marx. Stacy Marx has Athetoid cerebral palsy, and we were just talking on the last video about her vision, and you have 4 visual issues. Can you tell me what they are?
So I have astigmatism.
Astigmatism, so that's where lines appear a little bit more wavy. I have astigmatism too. It just keeps you from seeing clearly.
Yep, that's correct. Sorry. So I also have strabismus, which is one I've had surgery for.
The strabismus is where one eye turns in or out, or it can be alternating. It's often alternating in people who have athetoid cerebral palsy and tends toward going out, but can also be in. Yours goes in or out?
She said, yeah, mine affected my right eye and it caused it to go out, but I had surgery for that at age 15 and now its face is straight.
Okay, and so that's 2.
So I also have nystagmus.
Nystagmus. So nystagmus is where your eye moves or roves, and it can be big movements or it can be small movements, and it looks like to me that yours are very small movements of nystagmus.
Yes, that's
and that can make you put your head in different places to be able to trap your eye so it's not moving as much so that you can see clearly. Is that true for you?
Yes, that's true.
But what people say who have nystagmus is that your brain often will accommodate for it. So when you look out, do you see the world shaking?
So with my right eye, sometimes things move just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I tend to use my left eye a lot more and rely on that side of my vision.
Which brings us to the 4th type of visual disorder that you have.
Yes, that would be amblyopia.
All right, and so an amblyopia, that's where when you have one eye that's much stronger or dominant than the other eye, that the brain often, especially if one eye turns out or in relative to the other, what the eyes really want to do is work together, and when both eyes are not working together well, the brain says, one of you has got to go. So it will tend to turn off the vision in one eye that's giving not the same information as the other. So if you have a dominant left eye, my gut feel is that your right eye, your brain has started turning off some of the visual information from.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, so you have 4 different visual issues, and you found out other people found out that you were deaf, was it 5 years of age?
Yep, that's correct, 5 years old.
And so in speech therapy before then, now it is not uncommon for speech therapists to, when an individual is not talking, that they will introduce what's called broadband communication, of trying to help communication in all sorts of different manners. And one of the ways that they will often encourage speech is to use signing, and I think a lot of people use more and all done with babies just to help work through frustrations, especially around 1 to 2 years of age. And it sounds like can you tell me about what happened with you?
Yes. So my first word, my favorite word for the longest time, was boring.
So that's
because I was always at home and no one knew I was deaf, so I would say, I'm bored, I'm bored, I'm bored.
That's the sign. Your finger is beside your nose and you're wiggling it like you're picking your nose. So bored. That was your favorite sign. How many signs did you learn?
I had about 20 vocabulary words at that time. I was around 2 or 3.
And so you could communicate. Can you give me examples of what some of those signs were? You said bored.
So like eat, food, or mom, dad, Grammy, that was my grandmother's name sign. And then Pops, that's my grandfather's name sign. Hungry, bathroom or potty, doll, cookie, want.
I remember Sherry signing with you. Did you have a lot of people in your life who would sign with you?
Yeah, actually I did.
Tell me who.
So, obviously my mom and a lot of my mother's family, my sister, my father signed a little bit. My grandmother and grandfather knew some sign.
Huh. I really believe that finding a way to communicate is so critical, because I think language is something that snowballs, and the ability to interact with others. So it sounds like you had around 20 signs. So that was a limited, but at least a way to be able to communicate. And then once you found out everyone else found out that you were deaf, did that just explode in terms of the numbers of signs that you were taught?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then everyone started signing to you and...
Yeah, so when I went to kindergarten, I remember the first day I was looking around like, who are all these people? And then I started picking up sign language and getting that language exposure and starting to get some new friends.
So you went to preschool, and that preschool, they didn't know you were deaf, so you went to like a preschool for children with cerebral palsy or other orthopedic handicaps, is that correct?
Yes, so with children with other disabilities.
But at 5, you found out, other people finally figured out that you were deaf. So at that point, what kind of school did you go to?
So I went to Cotswold Elementary School.
Uh-huh.
And I was in a class that was a deaf magnet program with other deaf and hard of hearing students.
And so finally then you could learn to absorb all that language and get to interact with other people.
Yep, but I still wasn't really able to pick up on speech therapy and voicing things. It wasn't my favorite. It was very difficult for me. Speech has always been hard.
My experience is, and what Ann Gild, the speech therapist you had, who was also one of the most amazing speech therapists in the entire country, what she would always say about people who had athetosis is that people with this condition will often learn to use their jaw to balance themselves and hold up their head. And when you learn to use your jaw and tongue and the hyoid muscle bone and all those muscles that attach as a postural control muscle, that it's very hard to reverse it, to be able to learn how to use it to speak. And so my experience is the people with athetosis who did not learn to walk, they are actually better communicators than the ones that learned to walk. Then a lot of those can not speak.
Wow, I had no idea.
So did you have a communication device as well, or did you do all your communication with signing?
So when I was very young, I had a picture board.
Huh. Starting how old?
And I still have it at my house in my memory drawer.
How old were you when you had a picture board?
About 2. I was still in preschool.
Really? Okay.
She said, but I didn't really enjoy it very much at all.
Well, was it because it had limited options? Why didn't you like it?
Because I could see my mom's picture and I like knew who she was. And I knew who my Grammy and Pops, their pictures were on it. They had all the different pictures of my family members.
And so why didn't you like that?
Because I didn't understand the English, so all I could see was like, there's the picture of my family. I would base it fully on the pictures, but I didn't know what most of them meant.
Okay.
I only had ASL. I didn't have my basic English abilities yet, so.
Oh, that's interesting. And when you were older then, did you learn to use a computer and a keypad and all that?
Yes.
Okay. Stacy, I have no idea how 10 minutes is going so fast, but it is. It must mean that I'm really fascinated and enjoying talking to you.
Yeah.
Would it be okay if we continue our discussion on the next video?
Absolutely. Okay.
All right. Stacy, thank you so much for talking to us, and we are looking forward to talking to you again on the next video. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. If you liked this video and would like to be notified by email when the next video comes out, click the subscribe button here and click the golden bell icon and ensure notifications are enabled on your account.